Welcome, welcome, welcome to this episode of the Wealth Rebels show. And you will notice that we are in our amazing future self outfits. I'm in my green bikini. That's where you'll find me most days down at Saunton. And Debbie is in her beautiful glasses and hat. And we're going to talk more about that in a moment. So, welcome, firstly, Debbie Shelley to the Wealth Rebels podcast
So excited to be
channel.
here.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm going all over the place here because I'm going back into podcasts when we're only on YouTube. This is my mad life, Debbie, honestly. And you've completely thrown me because the energy that you bring into my life is so wonderful. First and foremost, this is Debbie's first podcast, and I think this is really important to know because we have to start everywhere. And one of the things that kind of brought Debbie and I together was we met in 2022, right? 2022, back
Yes,
in Jersey at Catherine Morgan's wealth retreat. And one of the things that we had to do at that retreat when we met was we had to go dressed as our future self. And it transformed everything. I really believe it transformed everything. Obviously, it brought you and I together.
yeah,
We've been working together ever since, and it brought you and I together, and it's taken us both on this journey of finding out who we are and like the kind of trials and tribulations. And I really want to dive into that today with you, Debbie. I really want people to get to know the amazing energy that I've had the pleasure of having in my life. And this is what has led us today to turning up on the show dressed as our best future self, which actually is not our future self. It is the self that is right now, today, right?
living it. Yeah.
Living it. And that's what it's all about. There's no future, there's no past, there's only ever the present moment. So, Debbie is the founder of She Shares Wealth. And you're going to talk all about what She Shares Wealth is today. You're also the founder of Salt and Sands, a luxury property business. And I want you to explain a little bit about what these businesses are so that people can hear not just the things that they can go on and invest into, but also the inspiration of what you have created, which is really, really important because this has all been since we met in 2022, right? And so that just shows you the power of being your future self in the present moment. Really quickly, a little story. One of the things that I did in the 2023, you weren't at the 2023 one, right?
No, I wasn't. Yeah.
I in the future self manifested Darren O'Lean, a US TV star, into my show, and he said yes. And it happened on that kind of retreat. And so I
Amazing.
just want to tell you the power of really owning and embodying these kind of in the moment, the energy that you want to be, do, and have is so, so powerful. It's not woo, it's real.
It
So,
is.
Debbie,
Yes.
let's dive into you. Let's firstly just dive into a really great question that I know you took on stage when you went on stage recently at Catherine's event in London. What does wealth, firstly, what does wealth mean to you if you were to just describe wealth in a nutshell?
Um, well, to me now, like in 2025, wealth means to me, it is about having financial freedom because money does pay for things such as our holidays. But the actual wealthy part for me, when I stopped focusing on the money side and actually focused on my own personal life, it's about the people I'm surrounded by, going on luxury holidays with my wife and friends, trying new experiences, doing something different, you know, something that's in my energy. It's positive, and I just think that really the biggest thing is the people around you, the people that you can trust, and the people that have got your back. Makes me feel wealthy.
You just said something so important there, Debbie, which just I just love because often when I talk about wealth, like I'm like, oh, it's being abundant, it's well-being, energy, abundance, lifestyle, time, health. Wealth is luxury.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that you have to go around your life, you know, not in your favorite green bikini or your beautiful pink shirt that just looks gorgeous, right? Wealth is whatever it means to you. And we can have a luxury life. We can have everything that we want in
Yeah.
our life. We are not limited. And money is an asset,
Yeah.
it's an exchange. It's what we can create when we channel our energy into the right projects and the right things, we can create it. Wherever we invest our time, energy, and money,
Yeah.
money
And
is one of
yeah.
the things. We will create the asset that we then get to decide what is going to make us feel wealthy and luxury in your relationships, luxury in the places you visit. For me, it's a luxury to put my feet in the sand,
Yeah. No, it's a
right?
luxury to be in the sun.
Yes, the sun is out today,
I
and I'm
know.
sat
I love it.
inside. And for me, it is. Actually, I don't. This is interesting. Darian O'Lean shared on his Instagram today that sunshine is so essential to us. It's an essential. We feel in the UK, sunshine is a luxury. Yes.
It is, but yeah, it shouldn't be.
And the reason I believe that is, and this is one of the things that you're wanting to create a shift for with She Shares Wealth, and we'll dive into this, is when we have financial freedom, or when we have freedom at all, we have the ability to go, the sun is out, I'm going to get in the sunshine. And
Yeah.
when we don't have that freedom, we don't have that sovereignty, we don't have the luxury of
Yeah.
choice, then we're not able to do some of those simple things like when the sun does come out, go and sit in the sun and get some vitamin D.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What a
And
powerful word.
I think it is that. And the same thing like you were saying, because we've got the luxury to do it, having our own businesses and becoming an entrepreneur has allowed us to do that as well, rather than working for somebody else. So yeah, for me, like my sister said, she's a school teacher. She's like, I don't understand how you can live without that regular paycheck coming in every month, the security of it. And I said, well, you're only limited to that, whereas I'm limited to potentially a lot more. And I'm creating and doing something I love to do rather than just being in the job. And I think that it's hard. It's a lot of people are just in that, like they have to do this because they have to pay for everything. So definitely freedom is another big one for wealth. Yeah.
Oh, 100%, Debbie. 100%. You're not limited
Yeah.
at all
No.
entrepreneurship. And, you're moving beyond limitations and you're shifting out of that limited mindset. And it takes bravery. It is it's not an easy path to walk down, but if anything was easy, everyone would do it. And that's
Absolutely.
that's why I believe that we do have the luxury of choice and we don't realize how much choice. And this is why, what we're creating, off the back of the things that we do in our world, especially with She Shares Wealth, right? All of these things that we are creating is giving people an insight into a different way of life.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into that. Let's firstly dive into a little bit about you because your story is really important to where you are today. Let's dive into what your background, what led you to wanting you to become an entrepreneur. What led you to taking that flight in
Um,
2022, right? Where I met.
yeah. I've always been very different growing up. I was known as the black sheep. I like to push boundaries, do what things that people aren't. I traveled. I knew I wanted to travel from an early age, and I think traveling around the world has given me so much knowledge and friendships that I really love that. I'm meeting new people, new cultures, and things like that. So I just thought, I wanted to do something where I did have that freedom to just go on holiday when I wanted and not do the 28 days holiday. But I started off working in hospitalities, in bars and restaurants. Um, did that on and off for about 20 years. I went into letting agents and I did some buy, refurbish, refinance properties through the letting agent. Then I got a restaurant and wedding venue 14 years ago now, which is where my lovely wife applied for her first ever job at the restaurant, age 17. And as I said, 14 years later, we're married, and she helped me run the entire venue. We then went into sort of wedding consultancy and wedding planning. And then obviously COVID hit and things changed a bit. So we then focused on the property side. So we launched Salt and Sands Properties, and when was that? Last year. And we've got two short-term property rentals.
So you, Debbie, you were saying that you had two short-term property rentals with Salt and Sands. That's where we got up to.
Yes, and then I think the next step is I started talking to property investors about finding another property to buy, refurbish, and short term rental. And as I was having conversations with a lot of property investors, which many of which were male in some of the networking I attended last year, I just felt that perhaps they didn't quite share the same vision as I did. For property investors, it is all about the return, getting paid back sort of 12 months later. And I just thought, this isn't really my energy. This isn't really me. So I came home from then and I decided that I actually was like, I need something that doesn't exist already with the property investor. So I thought, what's a good way for everyday people to invest in property without needing loads of cash or expert knowledge? So that's why we then created She Shares Wealth. It's She Shares Wealth because it's me and Becca created it. We're sharing our wealth with everybody. It's property is a great way to build wealth, but most people are locked out. So I thought, what if we made an accessible, hands-off, community-driven property investment portfolios? And it's more than just property investment. I won't go into that sort of side of it. People have heard of property investment. And for me, obviously, I'm targeting everyday people, whether you've got savings, inheritance, pension, you want to start a kids' trust fund. It's just you can invest into one of our property portfolios and gain annual income as well as bonuses from the whole thing. So I've put here that, it's more than just a business, it's a movement. It's about income, impact, and inclusion. We're here to help people who've been left out traditional property investing get in on the action.
I
So
love
what we
that, Debbie. I love that because, you went to lots of networking events, and this is the market, and this is why I believe the world needs more feminine energy, because short term is important. Like a lot of the transactions that we see, especially with the masculine energy, it's we want immediate returns. We want to see things quickly, very consumerism. And this is why when we bring in the feminine energy into the mix, we get a different vision. We're looking for a longer term. We're thinking beyond limitations
yes,
the today, and you wanted to do something differently. And what's wonderful is that, we've talked about the fact that She Shares Wealth is you and Becca, it's sharing. Wealth is not just and we'll come on to this in a minute, that She Shares Wealth, it's not just your portfolios, and let's go deeper on what your portfolios are. It'd be great for you to, I know you were coming on to that. But it's also a community. You've got a
yeah,
community option where you share knowledge as
yeah,
well. And
absolutely.
knowledge is so, so wealthy in terms of, I believe the more knowledge we have, the more that I learn from you, you learn from me. We're all in it together. We're learning about different things, the better and the more abundant we become, and we have the luxury of knowledge, right? And that is really, really powerful. So tell me a little bit more, because
Well, it's
obviously
kind of
you've you,
frozen there.
you're not, it's not frozen on my side, my love. So am I still frozen now? Um you're not frozen on my side, my love. So I'll just carry on. Hopefully you can hear me. So obviously with Salt and Sands, this is your rental properties, which you have one in Brighton, right? And you have I think, have you gone again? Okay, so Debbie's back. We've had a few technical issues, and
We
we're
have.
talking a little bit about Salt and Sands. So Salt and Sands is your property business where you have short-term rentals, and tell us what you did there. What is that about? What is Salt and Sands, the mechanics behind it, and then what people can do through you, how they can experience Salt and Sands first before we dive deeper into then what you
Yeah,
with
yeah.
She as well.
So Salt and Fat Sands we created last year because we wanted to do more short-term rental properties. We wanted to have them in the UK, but also worldwide, being that we're travellers and my wife's a travel agent. It's just an additional thing we wanted. So we decided to set it up as a company, a limited company, and do the properties through there. So Salt and Sands is the management company of all the holiday lets. We do also have owners that have got their own properties that want us to manage them for them. So that's all done through Salt and Sands. And then when I was obviously looking at raising further funds to do some buy-to-lets, that's when I decided that actually I'm going to set up She Shares Wealth and get investors directly into the portfolios to then purchase more properties. We do long-term lets and buy-to-lets and buy-to-flips, but the main strategy is the short-term rentals because we've got a hospitality background. And we like to offer luxury holiday lets with additional extras such as private chef can come in and cook a meal for you, or Bex can arrange a wine tour. Lots of different things that we
But
want to
that's
get
amazing, isn't it?
an
Because
experience.
with Salt and Sands, the mechanics behind it is that you have rented a property, you've done it up,
Yep.
made it better. So you are actually renting something. You haven't had to buy that property. And that's the really important. If we just break it down so
Yeah.
people will be listening to this for the first time and they will not know what rent to rent is, all
Yeah.
of that,
No,
right?
yes, rent the property. So, obviously it's a low barrier entry fee because you're not purchasing. You don't need the deposit and the money. It's just we rent it directly from the property owners. And that's why I've then done a low barrier entry fee for investors because, from 10,
Let's
20
pause on the entry fee because let's focus on Salt and Sands.
thousand pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, because I want people to really understand the concept of what you've created with that. So with Salt and Sands, you've rented it, done it up, and then you rent it out. And what you do then is you don't just rent it out as a bog standard rental or Airbnb. You're making it luxury. Your wife is also, Bex is also a travel agent. So you rent it out and make it super special because you're targeting the luxury clientele. You want it to be a luxury experience so that you can charge higher rentals, right? And you can get more
Yeah.
income coming in because you want a great margin. There's been a lot of poo-pooing in the market that the rent to rent market's struggling. We've had these challenges with interest rates and things like that. So we're saying here that it's still working and it's still viable because you need to make it
Absolutely.
viable. And this is the way that you have made the Salt and Sands business model work for you, and you have two properties in there. And what you wanted then to do is you've taken it one step further because when you were at these networking events and you're looking at investment and you're looking at taking things further, it was like, well, I want to do things differently and I want to share this experience even deeper with other people that maybe want to get involved but don't have the experience that I have with arranging a rent to rent,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
want people to just get involved even more. She Shares Wealth is born. Tell me a little bit more then about how the portfolios of She Shares Wealth work for you.
So the idea is to have multiple portfolios under She Shares Wealth so that anyone that does invest, when they get their annual income, that's based on what they've invested. But at the end of the term, they'll also share the profits from the entire portfolio. So I don't want people coming in at all different times. So I do portfolio one. I've got 2 rent to rent properties. I'd like 3 more, close that portfolio, open up another one, 5 more properties, and just keep replicating the portfolio so that each people that are invested into one portfolio really get to make a difference. And also, some of the people that have invested have recommended areas for me. Oh, you should try the Cotswolds for this. So people can be involved as they like, but they don't need the time, money, or knowledge to do any of it, because that's what we're here from. And we're trying to build financial security for other people. We also reinvest into affordable housing and community projects, and we do ethical and impact driven investing so that they get the returns, but they also make a difference. And that to us was the biggest thing. It's inclusivity. It's bringing in more people.
How do you do ethical investing then? How does that work? What is it that you're doing that makes it ethical? So I think a lot of people get suspicious when they hear that word, and I really want them to understand what it is that you're doing differently.
So ethical to me and impact driven is making a difference in the world and making a positive difference in the world. So with our short-term property rentals, we'd like to bring in sort of smart apps and eco-friendly, sustainable products to help make a difference. We also do work with charities. We're looking at targeting the homelessness in Brighton, which is obviously part of the impact-driven investing. And all these sort of profits are just added to the next portfolio so that we're always bringing in more properties. And as I say, making a difference to everybody. And we're passionate about opening up the space for underrepresented voices to be a part of it.
Yeah.
A lot of stocks and shares, you don't always know exactly where the money's going. You don't know if it's in ethical practices. Sometimes it's not. They're just a big company or something like that. Whereas we're very see-through. We share everything that we do in a way that everybody understands. So it's not targeted at property investors. It's targeted at everyday people who
Yeah.
just want to be a part of something different. And it's like a movement. It just sort of
I can see the
grew from
movement.
that idea.
100% you're on a movement. You're definitely on a crusade and you're wanting to do something. The way that you care, it oozes from you. I've known you a really long time and I know how much you care about about a lot of the things that you're saying. And, you have taken yourself to become a trader in property.
Absolutely.
You've spent a huge amount of money and knowledge investing in educating yourself, learning from
Absolutely.
property experts, going to these networking events, and now you're taking it that one step further to create properties, but allow other people to come in
Yeah.
through investments by whatever, whatever their investment amount they come in, they have a share of the fund value.
From that portfolio.
Essentially what
Yeah.
a fund is, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you have around your investment, whether it's a company, whatever goes around it, like the wrapper, what is in it is the assets, and
Yeah.
then the money that comes in from the investors, whether you use that to pay for rent or whether you use that to buy an asset, because I know you have aspirations to start buying some properties as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're enriching the community by bringing people into the community as well through your luxury accommodation. And the thing that makes, I would say, I always think ethical is an interesting word. You're looking for sustainability,
Yeah.
sustainable products, using things that are good for the planet, putting the planet first, because often we see that as luxury and
Yeah.
it should be standard, but it is more expensive. So you're trying to make your business carbon neutral, I guess. One of the things that we talk about a lot is how can you be carbon neutral? It's really hard, but you're setting the precedent as you build your businesses from a really stable grounding to make sure that you don't have impact on the planet. We know that traveling has impact on the planet, but fundamentally, if we can always be mindful that if
Absolutely.
I know that if I'm coming to Brighton, right, for the weekend, and I'm going to book Salt and Sands for my trip to Brighton, I know that at least my place is eco.
Yeah.
I know that it's been put together eco. I'm supporting the community. And then you're also, if I was to be an investor and go, right, here is £10,000 for me to be a part of the portfolio to get some dividends from the company and to get a return in the end, whatever those are the investment returns that I might get. But I also know that part of the profits go to a charity, like you're
Yeah.
really about helping the homeless charities and things like that. So you're taking a stand that your business is beyond you.
Yeah.
She shares wealth is beyond that. And I just love that so much. So that's that kind of the aspect. Obviously, I have the added value of the fact that I've worked with you on the creation of this. So I really
Yeah.
understand it. And I think that really helps when we're talking about it, because I really understand what you've created here. And I just want people to really get it so they can go, I want to go to Salt and Sands. And we'll drop, all of these links will be in the show notes, right? I want to go to Salt and Sands, or I want to be an investor. But you might be going, okay, but I haven't got 10 grand yet. I'm not quite there yet.
That's
Doesn't matter.
okay.
Why doesn't it matter, Debbie?
So we've created a community, which is Facebook and WhatsApp community. Anyone can join for just £15 a month. That's for community access. So you do get VIP rates at any of our holiday lets around the world. You get access to expert guest sessions, which is about wealth, property, mortgage, inheritance, anything that you guys might want to know, and also give back to local communities. When you are then ready to invest, you sign up for £25 a month, and that covers all the anti-money laundering checks. And also you get everything else, and plus an in-person event for our investors, and meetups. And it's more of a connection group. I'm not training you how to do property. There's lots of people out there that do that, and I have previously done training, but it's about just supporting each other, really. It's kind of like a new investment culture: profit, purpose, and legacy. So anyone can join and become part of it, even if you're not ready. And yeah, we'll put all
Creating that community, isn't it? Because I feel, I really do feel, especially as an entrepreneur, we can feel so isolated. And we don't, we sometimes, and I know this, right? I've been to an event, right, where I felt super, super excited. I've heard a pitch about property. I've left, gone back to deep, darkest Devon and gone, oh, I felt motivated, but I can't do it now. I can't do it. And so one of the things that I feel when we have these communities that are online, because I think a lot of the time people say online is dead. It's not dead.
the
Like, we still have this ability to connect with people around the world, right? I'm in North Devon, right? You're not in North Devon.
yes,
Where are you?
yeah,
In Essex. You're in Essex, right?
yeah,
So, and we're connecting with people internationally all the time. And, you know, I know you have the aspiration to have the face-to-face meetings as well. So bringing people together, and that's a big part of what you're looking for, is that you want investors to come in to drive your vision forwards, which is really exciting. But it's that community. Community is everything,
yeah,
and when you get this, and I've seen this because I have my own community, right? I have my own star portal. Um, the community, the community itself helps people to see they can do things, and they're more likely to do it.
yeah,
You're way more likely to take action when you have that ability to come together every month, I know yours are going to be bi-weekly, right? To catch up and have a human conversation
yeah.
online, and then face to face when you do those face to face meetups. It's really, really powerful. Tell me a little bit about the energy that I'm going to expect when I'm coming to even your online events, or to come along to the face-to-face ones, whether it's in Essex or London or beyond.
Yeah, well, I'd like to do one in Essex and one in London to start with, because it's the areas I know. For me, it's about just sharing what we're doing, and getting everybody talking about it and getting everybody excited. And in the community, again, it's funny because, years ago it was, oh, you're too laid back, and all you need to be less you. And I'm like, hang on a minute, met you at 2022, and I was like, no, I need to be more me. So I think for me, like,
Said that. Let's call that out. Be less you. Oh my goodness. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it was, I'm too, I don't know what it was, but it was like a sales thing, and I was like, yeah, no, I think I'm gonna do. So that's again why we created She Shares Wealth. I've had a couple of feedback from older men in the industry, and they're like, well, you're limiting your target audience. And I was like, yeah, I don't want just anybody. I want people that actually get what we're doing, why we're doing it, and align with my energy. The whole point is that it's female founded. We're passionate about opening the space for underrepresented voices, and being told to be less me. And actually, it's about being more you.
Be more you.
Yeah, being more you with the energy, the positive, the I don't really know. I'm
I
just,
love it, Debbie, because you've just really hit a nail. If anyone is selling anything, they're pushing things
yeah,
onto someone that they don't want.
yeah,
We are in a culture of sales and we're moving into an energy of attraction.
yeah,
The only way you will ever attract and not have to sell and push is by being yourself 100% authentically, right? And I love your energy. I think you are infectious. The thing is as well, and I've worked with some incredible men, entrepreneurial men that support female founders. They have a passion for supporting female founders,
yeah,
and they are strong men
yeah,
or are not fearful of strong women.
yeah. And they're the
Okay.
ones that we want to attract. It's not
And
just for women.
you will attract every
Yeah,
every person that is right for She Shares Wealth, whether it is a man or a woman, right?
absolutely.
You will attract in the right people. She Shares Wealth isn't saying she shares wealth with women.
Yeah,
Read into what you want to do. It's saying she shares wealth.
yeah,
Okay? She shares wealth because guess where creation comes from? The feminine.
yeah,
Right? You know, and we know that, the masculine is we give the energy. We know if we're going to go spiritual here, I love a bit of woo.
yeah,
Every one of us has 50% masculine and 50% feminine energy. We have we have Shakti, we have Shiva when we're looking at the chakras and all of the things that makes our energy system works. And that's what makes men and women have the ability to create things. Women can go out there and we can sell
yeah,
our energy. And this is why when you sometimes we go into a room full of men, and this is why you need She Shares Wealth as a community. So women can come in and men that want to be more feminine can come in because they're
yeah,
fed up of going in a room where they have to sell.
yeah,
We are wanting to create space for attraction.
yeah, absolutely. It's for people with spare cash savings, it's professionals, entrepreneurs, self-employed, people with kids. But yeah, it's bringing that ones that agree with the message that we're putting out there and really being different. I mean, I'm so excited for it because it is very different. I feel it's quite unique, and yeah, I'm just excited to share it with everyone.
You feel it's unique. It is unique because it's you.
Yes.
At your very core, one of the, when we start creating from a place of purpose, we cut ourselves down the middle, it's like it's Debbie Shelley all the way down the middle. What we've done is we've scooped a little part of you out to create She Shares Wealth. You scooped a little part of you out to create Salt and Sands, all these little ventures. I call them Ikigai ventures, right? Ikigai,
Yeah. Yeah.
living a life of joy and purpose in alignment with who you are. You're sharing you. And so even if another thing popped up going, he shares wealth,
Yeah.
I'm just picking he shares wealth, if someone copied it, it doesn't matter
No.
because there's always going to be replications. There's always going to be people doing things. There's always going to be another financial coach. You are so unique because there's only ever going to be one of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing. That's why we call it that, because it is about us. Us people are investing into us and what we
Yes.
can do for them.
Yeah, and your experience. And that's why I was so
Yeah.
keen to like really hone in on Salt and Sands because Salt and Sands is sort of like kind of the thing behind what people can get
Yeah.
involved in. And I would really encourage people to go and have a look at Salt and Sands, go and have a look at what you've created there because that is the real tangible asset that kind of shows
Absolutely.
what it is that then when people come in as an investor they are investing into real assets. It's a real structure. It's an investment fund that you are creating. You are
Absolutely.
investment managers.
Yeah.
You're doing all of the legwork in the background. Um, I
Full
think,
team behind me, including you. And actually, if anyone wants to read our story, you can go to Pride Escapes, which is our travel blog. And we created that because we just travel so much. And Bex is very creative writing. And I said, why don't we just create a travel blog where you write about our trips and put photos up? And then when we're really old, we can look back at the website and see everywhere we've gone, and now that's obviously taken off a bit as well. So yeah, it's just something else that was a passion, and just it shares our story, who we are.
And that is she shares wealth, isn't it? You're
It is.
sharing at the end of the day, for me, that is what wealth is.
Yeah.
It's an experience of life. And you're going through life, and you're either going through life at a high vibrational frequency, or you're going through life limited in fear, confined by things like sales and short-term time horizons. If you're in the short term, yes, I fully believe of being in the present moment. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm short term. Doesn't mean
No.
I've got vision. Doesn't mean that I don't want to grow.
Yeah.
That I don't want to expand, right?
Yeah.
It's limitless. We know that there's unlimited money and energy and abundance in the universe, right? We know that. We just need to take a share of it. And that's why we need to share it. And that's
Yeah.
why She Shares Wealth is so powerful, because we can take that those stories, take you on a journey. Okay, you're in Miami right now.
Yeah.
I want to go there. Oh, great. There's the Salt and Sands in Miami. And
Yeah.
I'm going to travel there. So we're getting to experience this by being in your actually using your
In our, yeah,
community,
in our
coming
community.
in the community to be inspired, or actually investing in it and creating some of that wealth so that we can then go and be
Yeah.
there. It's
Come and
so
join us.
fulfilling.
Yeah. I think it you know, by having the She Shares Wealth as well, it sort of, you know, came as we might do a podcast, you know, She Shares Knowledge or something like it is more than just us sharing the profits with you. It is sharing a lot more. It's sharing our lives, sharing what we do, sharing our knowledge. Yeah, it's just,
I would
and again,
not
it's future.
change the
That's so
name.
much.
She Shares Wealth is the thing that would be the podcast, right? Because it has to be,
Yeah,
everything has to be that. I feel like She Shares Wealth would
as
be,
well.
because it just is. It is the brand. It is you, because the knowledge is part of it.
Yeah,
Think about what wealth is for you. Wealth is travel, wealth is luxury, wealth is freedom, wealth is knowledge. And if I was going to listen to your podcast when it goes live, when, not if,
know when.
I'm going to be dialing in for that luxury experience. I'm going to be hoping that you'll be in Miami and I'll be hearing the waves crashing, or
Yeah,
some sort of, American argument happening in the background, and that's real. That
yeah,
podcasts, maybe this is where I need to take I'm always expanding and thinking differently for my own energy. We think things have to be perfect. Oh, the connection's not right. Oh, we have to be in a room with soundproofing to record
yeah.
a podcast. No, we don't.
Got to be real.
Who cares about all of that? We just need to get our energy into the world.
Yeah,
We talked about this when we were kind of like preempting, kind of creating this show today, wasn't it? That one of the things that we have to let go of, and I think we might have talked about it in the Star Collective, is letting go of perfectionism.
yeah, absolutely.
How is
Just do
that for
it.
you?
I think it's funny because like me and Bex have obviously got we're very different, and that's why it works very well putting, you know, running business and everything. And I'll be like, let's just get it out there, and she's like, no, we need to have a plan, we need to, and it's trying to find that balance of both.
Balance. Mm.
Yeah, and I think it's a case of um yeah, when you kind of finally realize that actually that's not us, we're not perfect, so why would I even try to get that across? You know, I'm targeting everyday people, so, and I'm an everyday person, so yes, perfection, what's perfection? You just do it. That's what I say, and that's why I just created this.
Balance is important because, just to
Yeah,
be clear, we've been talking about you coming on my show to do this for a while, and this is your first interview.
yeah,
But fundamentally, we did make sure that you had She Shares Wealth ready.
yeah,
You had a plan. We wanted for when you came in that people could take action straight away.
yeah,
Right? So we didn't just go out there and just jump into the world and decide to wear crazy clothes. And we're very serious.
yeah,
And I think that's important to note. Whilst we are fun and into kind of like being ourselves and being authentic, I also have a very serious side. I'm very Scorpion energy. I'm very serious. I take things seriously. It doesn't mean I'm not playful. And I think this is the important thing. You have a mission. And if people are serious about being financially free and wanting to have more travel in their life and to kind of have a share of your wealth and your knowledge, they need to listen to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just do it. Just come and listen, make the step. But yeah, it is. It's yeah, and that's the thing. I am fun, but I am also wanting to help charities and homelessness and actually help make a positive impact, and that's sort of the serious side of things. So
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know, and this thing, because we're in a world of polarities, you can't have the good without the bad.
yeah,
Um, you know, and we recognize that luxury can come at a cost.
it can. Yeah,
So it is creating that balance and saying that whilst we want freedom, we appreciate maybe others don't. And that's why you're so passionate about sharing wealth and sharing your knowledge and giving back and all of the things that you've said about. We're coming to the end of today. I always try and keep things lovely and not too long. Is there anything that you want to leave everyone with, like a little wealthy nugget that you can leave?
well, one thing I was going to say is that being part of a community, like you said about not doing it yourself, is that I'm always looking for collaboration opportunities. My door's always open for anyone to partner up with us in any way. And whether or not that's through investing, that's not a problem. I think if you've got any more information, we've got a fantastic brochure and we'll put all the links in there. And if you want to see what we're all about, just come and join us and see our stories, see what we do, see how we do it, and how we can help you.
You said you have a blog, right?
So I've got Pride Escapes as the travel blog.
Yeah.
We've got Salt and Sands Property, so we're on social media with those two. We've got a Facebook page for She Shares Wealth and an Instagram page for She Shares
I'll
Wealth.
share all these handles for Instagram,
Yeah,
the links to your blog.
we
Uh,
haven't got a website yet for She Shares Wealth, but the biggest thing is getting the community, and we share
oh,
everything in there.
100%,
So yeah,
100%. These are the things like you have the property, that is your asset. You have
yeah,
your investment ready. You've got the investment there. Websites,
yeah. It's already working. Just by bringing on more clients that become investors, the more properties we can get, and the higher profit everyone receives. But yeah, it's already working. We've got a business model that we know works. We're just ready to take it to the next step now.
ready to take it to the next step. And I do think it starts with your community because
Yeah,
sometimes we know that people need to get to know you. So come
absolutely.
into the community. When you have your first event as well, if you want to know about something that's happening in Essex or London, or maybe you just want to have a cup of tea with Debbie.
I'm
Reach
always
out
open
to
for
Debbie.
that.
I will leave Debbie's contacts as well in the notes, so you can contact if you're happy, Debbie, for to share
Absolutely.
your
I
email.
love
Um,
having conversations with people, getting to know
yeah,
their story. So yeah,
this
absolutely.
is
I'll,
the
I'll
thing.
drop everything for you.
Yeah, so Debbie will leave all her contacts with me.
Absolutely.
Thank you, my love, for coming on today and
Thank you
bearing with
for
us with the tech,
I'm glad that
sharing
you're
your
my first
story.
podcast.
Yeah, things, I was going to sing, things will only get better. But they will, and they do, and things can. It's always a forward-moving journey, and this for me is so important for you to get your message out there into the world.
Thank you so much for having me on here.
You're
Love it.
welcome.
Love your energy too.
Namaste.
Why we get on so well.
It is.